Alright, first and foremost, I want to say Kalalal, Yahweh Bashem Yashai, Bashem Rakar Kodash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Stone. Salutations to all the brothers that's pushing this work in all sincerity and in truth. I'm the brother Yahya from the James Kingston Jamaica camp, here once again with a lesson, professing the words of the Heavenly Father, true in all sincerity and in truth. Right? We're living in a time of prophecy, and the book speaks expressly of what we are supposed to do. Right? When you read the book of Second Ezra, chapter 15, verse 1, it says, Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord. Right? So once this word is in your mouth, right, it's supposed to be as a burning fire which you want to put out. Right? You're supposed to want to put that fire out there, right? And cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Fear not the imaginations against thee, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee. So, what does the word prophecy mean? It means to say before. So we are seeing the things before it happens. We have been seeing things before it happened, and right now we are living in a time where things are happening, right? And right now, some of the things that are happening is that we're seeing that this kingdom is crumbling from within, right? We're seeing this kingdom that is ruled by the so-called white man, Zain, which the so-called white man biblical name is Esau. He's a true biblical Edomite, right? We're seeing where they're starting to go against each other. We're seeing where there are different factors within the society, and it's starting to rub against each other, showing you that it's breaking down from within, right? This is an article from the New York Post. It says protesters clog streets in Michigan over Whitmore coronavirus take-home order. Right. So let's read a little bit on this article. Right. So the article is saying thousands of protesters on foot in vehicles converge Wednesday on Michigan's capital to rally against government Craig Finch with Whitmore stay-at-home orders in the state. So the the governor, Whitmer's, is basically establishing an order for people to stay at home. So he's making it mandatory for people to stay at home. So there are protesters coming out saying that this order is unconstitutional, right? And this is an example of the of different factors rising up against the government, right? And these people that are rising up against the government are Edomites. You see them with guns coming forth, right? Fighting against the government. And the scripture speaks about these things, right? So reading on, say, Michonne Maddock, an organizer for the group, said the demonstrators include Republicans, Democrats, and Independents. Quarantine is when you restrict movement of sick people. Tyranny is when you restrict the movement of healthy people. Maddock told Fox News. Every person has learned a harsh lesson about social distancing. We don't need a nanny state to tell people how to be careful. So the people aren't having it. They aren't having the complete rule of the government reign over them. They aren't having the government telling them what to do, which aren't constitutional. The protest had been expected to start at noon, but a line of vehicles stretching for miles began earlier in the morning. Operation Gridlock was just one of many demonstrations planned against the country to push back on the stay-at-home orders, calling on state governors to focus on the economic toll the coronavirus pandemic has caused, along with taking care of the sick. Right? So people are feeling the pressure, and the pressure is causing them to move against the government. Right? And we can see this thing, it's building up. People are going to basically, it's going to basically reach the stage where it's going to be utmost chaos within these countries, right? We can see it happening in America, even in Jamaica here. We see the same thing happening. The orders that the government is implementing on the people is causing the people to rise up against the rule of the government. That's why the scripture tells you that the powers shall stand in fear. Who are the powers? The powers are the government, the ruling governments of these different countries. Right? Moving to Isaiah chapter 19, verse 1. The burden of Egypt, behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud. Who is the Lord? The Lord is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, and the swift cloud is chariots, right? And shall come into Egypt. Egypt begins basically is the land of our captivity, mainly beginning with America, right? And the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst thereof. Basically, people are going to bunk out for fear, because the coming of the Heavenly Father is a fearful and glorious thing, right? And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians. The Egyptians against the Egyptians are referring to this society coming against itself, right? Members of the members of Esau coming against themselves, the Republicans against the Democrats, right? The UN nations coming against America, right? The Egyptians against themselves, the ruling factors of this society coming against themselves, right? How I know this? Matthew chapter 12, verse 25. And Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? So we see in this same narrative being played out in this current society, where Esau is coming against himself. They're coming against themselves from the international level, from the level of a country level, even from the microeconomic level, right? Where people are in the streets coming against the government. The government within themselves basically having dispute against themselves. The Republicans against the Democrats. As in, on the economic level, we're seeing where Germany, England, France, all of these other countries which are part of the EU, right, coming against America. So that is showing you that the Egyptians are set against themselves, right? So it says, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother, and every one against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. And that is showing you that there shall be all-out chaos within the streets, right? A complete destabilization of the economy to the point where everyone is going to be fending for themselves. Scripture tells us that the love of many shall wax cold, and we are currently in that stage. I was talking to my aunt earlier, right? And she said that she went into a store. The store is I think she called it BK's. BK's all the way in America with no BK's, right? It's one of those major stores that you can buy things in bulk. And she's basically saying that the store is basically empty, right? It's going empty. And people are going in those places in droves, fending for themselves, not considering that their overspending might basically be a shortage for others, right? So they are not thinking in a rational manner. Everyone is preparing for the coming famine and food shortage. So we can see these things happening in different ways, where the society is crumbling from within, man, right? So now, moving on to, let me play this video first. This is another example of people speaking out against the government, man. So let's play this, a little bit of this, not too much.
All right, everyone out in Facebook world, I'm here in Huntington Beach at a rally for freedom. We know this whole COVID scam is all about selling a vaccine mandate to kill us all. It's also about chipping us. And the whole thing, what's happening is we're having people starting to fight back. This is the United States of friggin' America, man. Let's get together and start building these rallies. I'm in Huntington Beach right now, stirring it up. I'm talking to the cops and letting them know that, you know what? you're going down with the rest of us. They don't understand the game, but this whole COVID scam is to sell medical oppression. You're not, and Governor Newsom's another friggin' prick. And I'm going to say...
See? So basically that is showing you what? Sedition amongst the people. Right? So going to 2 Ezra chapter 15 verse 16. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings. Was he regarding any member of parliament or any member of the cabinet or congress or whatever? No, he wasn't. He was defying the order of what they are saying. Right? They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Right? And this is the things that are happening right now, man. So let's look up the word sedition. The word sedition means incitement of resistance to or insurrection against lawful authority. So these are the things that are happening, man. People that are in our authority are coming up, are basically having an opposition from the citizens of the state. And this is what we're going to see become more intensified as we go along and further into the days of prophecy, man. Right? So with that, I want to say Kalalal, Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Makar Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and salutations to all the brothers pushing the word in all truth and in sincerity. Shalom.